All right, everyone. Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Jason Levine, and thank you so much for joining me here today on Adobe Live for part 2 of creating a documentary trailer with Adobe Premiere Pro. So really great to have you all back on the stream today. Had a lot of fun yesterday, and I did do some work on it, just a little bit, not as much as I would have liked, yesterday evening. So we're a little bit further along, and today we'll kind of review what we did yesterday, and then I thought for at least the first half what we'd focus on is actually creating the title cards that kind of separate all of the video and B-roll sections of the trailer, right? You always have the motion and someone talking on camera, and then you have the, the tracking text. And to do that, rather than create them myself, because I suck at that, we're going to leverage some Adobe Stock. And for many of you, if you've never looked for specific things like title sequences, you're going to find that there's amazing ones, and even more importantly, there's amazing free content in there. Now, again, could I create this in After Effects? Sure. And really, for most movie trailer text, you kind of just want, kind of flies on screen and then slowly tracks, widens on screen like that. Pretty standard stuff. That's easy enough to do. But I want to give it a little bit more design feel. So we're going to go and kind of troll through some of those different options, see if we can find a good one. And then I've got some different ideas for maybe just using some blend modes and kind of blending some background video with the text with maybe some animated transitional elements as well. We're going to play around and have some fun and see what happens. And then along the way, maybe, start to refine the timelines a little bit. So as always, we've got our live interactive chat here. All the chat is happening on behance.net/live. So if you're over on YouTube, be sure to visit us there. But in the meantime, hello, John Archer, Fortis Studio, Steve from Montreal. Great to see you. Hey, Desiree. We've got Akin back in the chat again today. Bernadette, Steve Festus C, great to see you as always. Tunch, right? Did I say that right? Or Tunch? Tunk? I know I said it wrong yesterday. You made a comment about that. My apologies. Bonnie Simmons, hello. VP Badal, hello. Bake Like a Pro, always great to see you. Kevin Elwood, Steve Fortin, Lance Swanson, Ashi, Vintas, Lindsay Palmer. Great to see everybody here. Alberto Silva. Andreas Holler, Bruce Barr again, Tim, of course, Lessa Bash, great to see you. Okay, so why don't we go ahead and get started here, and let me just switch over to Premiere, and we'll kind of see where we are at the very moment here. Let me just change over my screen. Okay, that looks good, and there we go. Okay, so let's quickly review what we did yesterday. And for the most part, if we just kind of take a look at the timeline here. So we were kind of targeting 1 minute. I was looking last night at a bunch of different trailers, and, it's funny in this day and age where stuff is, hitting the internet, hitting YouTube or something, before television, right? Television. It doesn't have to be 59 seconds, and 23 frames anymore. And in fact, the more that I was finding trailers that I really liked that were kind of inspirational stylistically, there were like 2 minute and 40-second trailers, 2:25, 1 minute 10, 1 minute 15, a minute 12. Like there are all these various lengths, about a minute and a half. Nothing is as fixed as it once used to be because we're not constrained. We don't have the time constraints that we once used to in content creation anymore and content delivery, right? So as a result of that, as I was refining some of the story here, and this will probably change even more so, I extended it. So the trailer is now officially 1 minute and 10 seconds. I needed that extra 10 to kind of fit in a couple of the other bits there. So what we did first and foremost was we went through and did all of the timing and labeled out all of the timing with the different different graphics layers to kind of showcase where we were going to need video, right? And to describe what it was at specific time code locations. And we color coded all of that. So that's all of what you see here, where I've got all the different time code in there. And on each of those things, like you see up here, it's just some basic instructions as to what should fill that space, right? So we storyboarded and laid out via text and time code all of what needed to go in there. And this was done leveraging a motion graphics template, right? So we created a very basic template here in Premiere. You can see it right there. I called it trailer cards. And this just allowed me to drag directly from the Essential Graphics panel right into the timeline, modify the text in the time code, and just move quickly without having to retype everything and reformat everything each time, right? So huge time saver using Essential Graphics. So, so we did that. We color coded everything based on orange or mango was sort of where Fuzzy was talking. The pink sections where there was like B-roll, or no, the pink sections where the title cards are supposed to go. And then the green sections and blue sections were where sort of B-roll and interviews with me are supposed to go. I'm the other person being interviewed in this. And then we started laying it out, and then we started cutting together and finding all of the best selects from Fuzzy's interview, right? So this one here, oh, not that one. Where is it? Oh, no, that's me. Oh, okay. It doesn't matter. The original interview where all this stuff is coming from. And then we started to go through some of my clips as well and like refine it and add a little bit of temp music, which is already driving me nuts. So I know that that track is not the one we're going to use. All right. So let's just take a quick look, kind of a quick review here. I'm actually going to, let me bring up the track mixer because I want to drop the music after a section here because it's not what I want, and it's kind of killing the vibe for me. So let's take a look. All right, actually here I'll leave this at this exact size. We'll leave it for now. All right, let's take a look.
My name's Fuzzy Island, and I play music, I write stories, tell stories.
I mean, that's the thing about Fuzzy. He's always listening. Every note that he plays, there's a purpose.
You could just go around and find folks who did what you did, talk about stuff that you cared about.
He's going to find something. He's going to have some element that you're going to connect with. That's going to keep you listening.
When everything is working, when the timing is just right, and you're sort of like talking back and forth with your instruments, you just sort of feel what's going on, nothing else is going on.
After nearly 30 years, we're still making records together.
When nothing else is going on except what you're doing, that's like a piece of heaven. There's a pleasure in that I don't know how you get any other way. Isn't that why you do that stuff? To connect.
Here's the title, right?
7's a lucky number.
Okay. And the end, right? So the title, the music kind of segues into that. Right now it feels kind of empty. And then just after that, we come up with this last little bit here, which you see a lot in trailers
7's
now.
a lucky number.
And notice I added that little strum that I promised you I would. I found it in our Loopology libraries. We have a whole series of guitar one-shot strums. So that's what this is down here. Just a C chord. And it's interesting, right? Because it looks like Fuzzy's about to go play it, right? So I hit this kind of low C, and then he strums along, kind of, your eye kind of fools you there, and it just seems to kind of work. So that's where we got to yesterday, all right? So today we're going to focus on, at least initially, getting these title cards in place. And again, how many do I have in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-ish. I've got a few. So I think I have about 6 or 7 lines of text that I came up with. Whether or not we use all of these, I'm not quite sure, but we'll figure that out. Again, great acoustic sounds. Yes, indeed. Mic'd myself. Those are all done. They're also all mic'd in stereo. So if you acquire the Audition Loopology libraries, which you can get directly from within the app, if you go into the help menu, there's a section to download music and sound effects. They're all stereo recorded with a matched pair of AT4041 hypercardioid condensers. Nice. All right. Chris Grosso, love those happy accidents, right? I know. We stumbled upon a couple of them yesterday, as a matter of fact, too. That stuff's a lot of fun. C major, the vanilla ice cream of the chords. Yes, indeed. All right. Audio Video Wizard Jason. Thank you, Akin. You're very kind. All right. So just check in here. All right. What else have we got? The TRS-80. Oh, yes, Kevin, you remember that. That was fun, right? We were all kind of reminiscing. A lot of people remembered that stuff. Steve is saying, TV is frustrating the odd time I watch it. Can't skip ads, can't rewind, can't just watch it when you want. It's weird, you know? I recently tried to rewatch some things and like on live TV, and it's difficult. It's difficult. And you can also tell that like that you know, that part of the industry, they're lost and struggling. They really are. I mean, you know, there's nothing that I watch that isn't DVR'd ahead of time, right? So it's an interesting time in that world. It's not going anywhere, but it's an interesting time. Okay, so let's talk about the title cards, right? So obviously, if you look at any trailer, and it varies by, again, style of your film, you're going to see all different types of animated text, right? You know, if it's an epic kind of thing, you know, a very big, you know, blockbuster kind of movie, usually it's 3D text with, you know, bevels and embossing and light lens flares and, you know, all this kind of stuff. And again, tracking forward and over to the side. There's all kinds of motion and movement and 3D elements. For something like a documentary, you want it a little bit more simple. And chances are you probably want it flat. You know, again, it depends on the kind of documentary, I suppose. But a bit more simple than a blockbuster, right? So I went to Adobe Stock this morning, and I think I've already got a couple of things in here. So if you've never seen this before, inside the Essential Graphics panel, we have this Adobe Stock tab. And from here, this is where you can search for all different types of graphical templates, motion graphics templates, animations, you know, text-based animations, transitional animations. And most importantly, the two greatest elements of having this built into Premiere, first and foremost, that you can license them directly, so you don't have to do anything. It'll just work. But the other part of it is that you can search directly. And for all of the ones that have been submitted into stock, they all have keywords and things. So if you just type in titles, okay, and then you have the option here to choose, do you want to see the free ones or the paid ones, the premium ones? Well, again, I can buy them, but let's check out the free offerings. Always good to check out the free stuff because, as I've said many times on stream, the free stuff is amazingly good. So if you hit free, looks like you got to hit that first, and go to titles, all right? What you're seeing here is that it's going to return 25 pages of results. So all of these are free. And where you see the blue check mark, these are ones that I've already licensed, okay? So again, I know what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a very specific kind of title. So none of these all look very, very busy and very interesting, but not really what I want. Again, I want just very simple, clean, you know, tracking style text. So one that I just grabbed was this one here called Thin and Bold Title. Now this one, it may not work, but we'll see. And just to show you kind of how this all works. So if you give it a second to load right here, you'll see that it'll actually cache the animation so you can see what it looks like. However, if you click on the little info icon right here, this brings you into a slightly bigger interface where now, again, you just hover scrub over it. It just gives you a better view of what this looks like. Now this style of text, and in fact this Source Sans Pro, like this is even font wise, I struggle with fonts all the time. This kind of looks good to me. Like I don't know if that's exactly what I want, but it kind of feels like what this feels like, you know? So again, right from here, you can simply click on license and it'll do its thing. All right, and I've already licensed this one. Hence the blue checkbox, all right? So you've got multiple pages of very interesting things. I point these out all the time, like there are very newsy, broadcasty style animations. Now yesterday when we did our very basic, you know, non-animated thing, that was all done in Premiere. But as you can see with a lot of these are built in After Effects. So like in the case of this one, right? I mean, this just looks, it absolutely looks like something you'd see on the news, right? You know, during, you know, the weather broadcast, okay? Got like, I don't know if that's actual video or if that's generated to look like water and rain, but pretty cool. And you can see you've got the reflection of the text in there. Super awesome. Price, free. This is a free one. you know? So think about it. If you're making YouTube videos or Instagram stuff and you kind of want that style, again, this is not for everybody, but this is broadcast legit and it's free. All right. 6 seconds, super small. It tells you the font. By the way, if you see that little triangle with the exclamation, that's just telling you that you don't have that Adobe font synced to your system yet. When you download, it'll automatically synchronize and license that for you. So now you can have unlimited Adobe fonts, formerly Typekit. Makes it really easy. All right. Let's see if we've got any other comments in here in the meantime. Wow, tons of comments going on. All right. Blue checkbox. Nice. Yes, you are indeed licensed. Okay. It's going to feel like what it feels like. I'll keep this for hard times. Looks good. Nice. Okay. What if it's a zombie documentary? Oh, we've got beautiful glitch ones and things for that kind of stuff. All right. We really do. We've got such a variety of these things. Okay. And then again, you can see all the various keywords. So now I wanted to get a bit more specific here. So I went through like all 25 pages of this, and there are some great things. And I grabbed a couple of other ones that were in here. Like I said, there's lots of different styles, lots of options, some very modern, super cool, very web internet styled ones, but also just like Hollywood style, the trend of that glitch text. I'm trying to see if I can find where those were. I think those were towards the end here. Oh yeah, this is another. I licensed this one. This one wouldn't work for this film at all, and I don't love the font here, and I don't know if the font is editable. It usually tells you if it is. Can't tell here, so it may not be editable. But you can see, like, this really, it tells you you've got 3 different styles, full color control, even lower third options. I don't know if there's, what other additional options there are, but right, this is legit. This is like standard stuff that you see. This kind of reminds me of like Nightmare Before Christmas style text or something, with the lens flare. You get a little J.J. Abrams in there. If J.J. Abrams did The Nightmare Before Christmas, this is what the title sequence would look like. Okay, lots of lens flare. So you've just got really cool, amazing stuff in here. And I went through all of these and found a couple and licensed a couple. And again, these are all the free ones. Oh yeah, this is one of them. This one, I licensed this too. So you're just asking about zombie movie. This one, look at this. This is so cool, right? This is straight out of, half the stuff I'm seeing now. I'm catching up on an older series now, Future Man. Anybody watching Future Man? And on Hulu. And this feels very appropriate and very now, right? This kind of glitch title style, the moving text and the RGB layers behind it, really good stuff. Bruce Barr, can you add your own logo? Of course you can. So now keep in mind, depending upon the type of graphics template that you have, you can't necessarily add something into that template, but you can add another layer, in a new template with your logo as a logo bug and have that persistent, and that can be saved to CC libraries, right? So you can always just drag your logo in. In fact, if I look, I'm not sure if it might be here because it might be recently saved. I just did that. I just saved one of my logos and this standard title sequence that I often use in here. I might be in the wrong library. Just looking, I'm just scrolling through it here. I'm not seeing it. Funny, there's Fuzzy Island, stuff I did a long time ago. Well, it's somewhere in here. But yes, you can do that again, but you wouldn't necessarily be adding it to that motion graphics template. You would add it to something else. Oh yeah, so here's one, like a standard lower third, and that was my Jace's Places logo. So that's just made as another template, okay? So these are just titles. Now I wanted to get a bit more specific. So what if I typed in movie titles? All right, now this may return fewer results because it entails that someone has tagged these as movie titles. But again, now you can kind of see, again, we're just looking at free ones, and this shows you the ones that were specifically titled with movie. Now, if we go to premium, all right, Now you can see, now we've just returned another 15 pages worth of really super cool titles. And to be honest, in here, there were many. There were many that I would use, but not necessarily for this. So this is another one. Like, this is totally epic cinematic, right? You know, this just, I mean, somebody built this for you to use. That's what's so cool about these things. It's got the tracking text, look, a little bit of 3D, lens flare, lots of color, gradients, and it tells you, right, a full-frame action title movie opener with electric and fire effects. You can control the effects, depth of field, fire, background, 4 different text areas, and these are all the keywords that they used. So again, you've just got amazing options in here. I believe these are all $19.99. That's $19.99 US, right? Again, here's another one. This is, you know, not really what I would want for this. You know, we don't want like electric and fire and smoke, but stylistically, you can just see that these are all out there. And what's amazing is somebody went through the trouble of building these things so that you don't have to. Now, there was one in particular. Why am I not seeing it? There was one that was like super 70s. I just got to say, oh, here's another one, another blockbuster cinematic, right? This is straight out of a, you know, Harry Potter, you know, Endgame kind of thing. And I was going to say, it's got to be Trajan Pro, and it is. For the longest time, I would say in the early 2000s, this was kind of the go-to font for blockbuster movies. You're not seeing it as much anymore because I think it just got played out. But really common one. I just want to show you that 70s one because it was so cool. Where is it? Now I'm not finding it. I don't remember what I searched. I have something with titles, but I'm not seeing it. Is it vintage film? No. And that's probably one I didn't license because I was like, no, I'll just search for it and show it then. You idiot. Let's take the free ones out of here. Okay. I don't know where it is. It's somewhere. Too bad. You can see some retro VHS ones. You know, really super cool stuff here. And yet we ended up with Papyrus and Avatar. So true, Lindsay. You know? And Brenda's saying $20 for that, worth it. Yeah, I mean, think about it. Put it this way. Like I said, could I create this same blockbustery one in After Effects? Yes. Yes, it's Trajan Pro. You can turn on 3D extrusion with the Cinema 4D render engine. We even have templates for smoke and fire that you could have playing behind it. You add some tracking keyframes. We have lens flares. I've also got video lens flare. I mean, it wouldn't be too hard to create that, and then you just have the motion blur enabled as it's flying off screen, and it's kind of pseudo 3D. Yeah, that would take me a while to make. This is already done, and there's multiple variations, and I can even open this template in After Effects if I want to. So you have full editability in After Effects of these templates after the fact, simply by saving them locally and then opening them as a project. So that's the key there. You open it as a project. You don't open it as a file, so you don't do file import. You open the Mogert file, .mogrt, as a project, and then it will basically extract all of the layers for you. And you can see there's really so many of these like fast 3D action stuff. Oh, there's just great ones in here. I'm really annoyed that I can't find this 70s one. That's going to drive me completely, totally insane. Where is it? It was so awesome. You might say, why don't you just, I think, oh, maybe it was under title. Maybe that was it. Remember, if they didn't put titles in the search field, it'll return different results. No, still not seeing it. Okay. Kids, they never perform on cue. That's what my parents used to say to me when they'd be like, Jason, play piano for these people. No, that's what I'd get. Okay. Yes, formats. Okay. So let's go with some of the ones that I chose and see if these look good. All right. So here are the ones that I kind of settled on. So we have this one here, this typography pop-on. So I'm asking you to vote on these. So this is typography pop-on. This one seems a little too, it's almost too simple. It's too mersh, too bougie. No, wrong word. Now that I look at this again, I don't really like that. Don't vote on that one. So we've got this one, thin and bold. And I like this, you know, kind of first line of text flies down, second line of text flies up. It's also bold. All right. So we've got thin and bold. And oh, that's really it. I didn't save any of the others. Oh, well, let's go with thin and bold then. I'm a doofus. All right. Let's go ahead and do that. So I'll take this template and let's drag it in. Oh, and I want to just make sure before I do that I'm not overwriting anything here. We'll shrink it up, obviously, duration-wise. Okay. Oh, and it looks like this, in fact, has what you can see here. So these whitened areas, if we go into the effects controls, these represent what we call responsive. It's a responsive motion graphics template, meaning that the animations that exist in those gray areas does not change regardless of length. Now, this one happens to be a bit long for what I need. So even if I squeeze this all the way down, see what's going to happen is it's still going to maintain the animation, but it might not look quite right because it's a bit fast. We're only giving it 2 seconds here. So we may need to extend this ultimately. But let's see if that's going to work. We're going to give it a shot. So momentarily, let's just disable this. All right. So let's see what that actually looks like in real time. I mean, that's the thing about
Tell stories.
I mean, that's the thing. Yeah, I don't know if that, I think that's just going to be a little too fast. So I'm probably going to need to extend that, but we won't worry about that just yet. Let's bring the text up, select it here, and then over in Essential Graphics, right away you can see we're in the Edit tab. Now, what this tells me, because it looks like this was built in Premiere. So this was entirely done in Premiere, no After Effects, which means it's going to be a little bit leaner. It's going to be faster. You're going to drag it in right away, and it's just going to kind of work and do what you want. What it also means is that you have full editability of the text, the style, you know, the font itself, the weight, everything. And you can see when I select that text layer, the entire source text editor comes up inside Essential Graphics. So when you have Premiere-based motion graphics templates, they're fully editable, totally easy to work with, really makes a lot of sense. All right. Checking over here. What's up, Mass Shadow? All right. About RC. Hey, man, great to see you. Thanks for joining. Stephanie Live. Quasi, a lot of people once again on Periscope. Nice to see you all. Ches B, thanks for joining. Okay, so I have my my text here. So the first line is, it's kind of cheesy. This may change. It's a story about a man and the music that guided him. Okay? It's a story about a man and the music that guided him. It's kind of long, so we may have to make some adjustments. All right. That guided him. Okay. So yeah, so we can see already we're going to have to make some size adjustments because it's not fitting on the screen. So there's that. Okay. So we're just going to have to resize the text here. Now, again, we have some flexibility. We could, in fact, move this down. You know, we could have it slightly overlap, but we got to find text that's going to kind of fit this screen properly. So let's go to around 66. That looks like that's going to work. And we'll do the same for this one here. So I'm using the text scaler right here. Just kind of fit this on screen. All right.
Stories, tell stories.
Yeah, it's so fast. All right. So it's going to get a little messy here, especially because I've got all these extra pieces. But here's what I'm going to do. Let's move all this. These are the work in progress snippets. Let's move all that down. Hopefully I'm not going to screw this up. I think we got it all. All right. And let's move this out just like one more second. Actually, I'm going to deselect that music because I don't care. And let's move this out. Right to there-ish. All right. Let's see if that works. All right. Let's see if that's better and a bit more. Gives us a little more time to read it.
Play music, or write music, write stories, tell stories.
I mean, that's the thing about...
Tell stories.
I mean, that's the thing about... It's still too fast, right? Now, keep in mind, the fade out. So this is, again, talking about the editability when it's a Premiere-based motion graphics template. I have full control over all of these keyframes. You can see there's just, and it's just basic opacity, right? You can see basic opacity on this text layer. Same thing will be on the text layer above, all right? So we could adjust all of this. You know, it doesn't have to, in other words, it doesn't have to, the opacity change doesn't have to happen right here. We can adjust the timing of that if we want to. So it's really, it just depends. It just depends what you're trying to preserve here. All right. So we do have quite a bit of flexibility there. I think we might even need to make this just a little bit longer. And it's a story about a man. Does that make sense? About AP versus Sony Movie Studio. You can move items so easily. Oh, yes. It is very easy to do that. Oh. After my gulp sound. Mm-hmm. Speaking of coffee, a story about a man and his music. Lessa. A man and his story. A story about a man and his music. It's a story about a man and his music. Yeah, maybe that works. Maybe that works, Lessa. Okay, I'm gonna go with that. So I'll keep that as because this is it's too long. I also need to move it on screen, I just realized, because it's all, the centering is all off. So I'm gonna use your suggestion. All right? Fuzzy thanks you. So instead, this will be a story, not a story about a man and his music. All right, oops, I don't want another text layer. And his music. Okay. Now, what that also means, now that we've done that, is we can make this bigger, right? So what do we have it at 80 before? So I don't know if, let's maybe do like 78, just a little bit bigger. All right. I mean, that's the thing about fun. What do you think? All right. Kind of works. I like the new phrase. All right. And if we want to, again, recenter this or adjust the orientation, or even maybe, I'm thinking maybe move this down. I'm wondering if that would change it at all. What do you think? This is where, you know, I'm not a designer, so I struggle with these things all the time. Do you like it just all on one line linear, or should I consider moving it down? Nice. Heather likes it. And the music guiding him. Oh, I like that too, Steve. Lots of good suggestions. No, those are not neighbors. Those are my children. Because, you know, school's in forever. So they're doing online schooling now because everyone's home, and super fun. Super, super fun. Fun for them, fun for the whole family. All right, so let's move on. Excellent suggestion. We will go from there. I mean, that's the thing about Fuzzy. He's always listening. Every note that he plays, there's a purpose. I mean, that's the thing about Fuzzy. So there's going to be B-roll here. He's always listening. Every note that he plays, there's a purpose. Now I'm thinking this title card, it's too soon, right? I don't think we need one quite so quickly.
Stories.
We've got one. It's a story about a man and his music. And that's the thing about Fuzzy. He's always listening. Every note that he plays, there's a purpose. And that makes sense. This is where we could put another title card. So again, this stuff starts to get a bit fluid. You know, I don't want to necessarily limit ourselves to not being able to have the flexibility of moving things around. And that's why I say it's formulaic, but at the same time, you're also kind of consciously thinking about beats, about where things are going to occur based on, you know, the soundtrack or just based on the flow. So having those cards so close together doesn't really work right here. So I like this spacing. We'll leave that one in there as a placeholder, but for now, let's go to the second line, which is, all right, about finding inspiration and finding purpose. Okay. And that's good because I just said something about, you know, there's a purpose for every note, every sound that he makes or something like that. About finding inspiration and finding purpose. Okay. So once again, let's take our graphic. And by the way, do we like this graphic or should we look for others? I kind of like it. All right. What did I just say it was? About finding inspiration and finding purpose. Okay. Finding inspiration. Finding inspiration. And finding purpose. I mean, that's the thing about Fuzzy. He's always listening. Every note that he plays, there's a purpose.
You could just go around and...
Does that work? That's a happy accident, too. I didn't actually realize that's exactly where I just said that. Does that make sense, or does that seem almost like redundant? And do I need to say about finding inspiration, or just finding inspiration and finding purpose? Inspiration defined his purpose. Ooh, Bruce Barr. Can I just say, as we're home, chilling, watching, I mean, this is what I just love about doing these things, right? So awesome to have this kind of feedback. So awesome to have this kind of community that, you know, bothers to chime in. It's just great. I love it. Munir El Ogbani, do I have tutorials to learn Premiere for someone who's an absolute beginner? Yes, I do. So if you go to my YouTube channel, which I'm just going to type in here for you, I have a series. Actually, you can find it on the Adobe Creative Cloud YouTube as well. It's in a playlist, but I will admit, it's very buried because very buried. That sounds like that sounds wrong. It's just kind of hard to find. So you can find it on Creative Cloud YouTube, but if you go to my YouTube, which I'm putting in the chat right now, I have a playlist called How to Make Great Videos. It's a 16-part series. It's all chapterized, by the way, and it's edited. So even though these were done as live streams, I went back and cut out all the, hey, Munir, great question. And you have chapters in the description so you can skip to what you want. And there are 4 or 5 on getting started with Premiere. And it goes, episode 1 is like importing footage. You know, what to do with it, how to make a timeline, how to play, how to stop, all those kind of things. Some keyboard shortcuts, all that stuff. So yes, we have that, and I think you'll enjoy it. So check it. Okay. I'm just reading here. Okay, yeah, don't use about. Okay, inspiration to find his purpose. I'm gonna go with that. thank you. And what do you think about inspiration? Nah, it doesn't look good. It capitalized. Inspiration. Defined his purpose. I like that. It's really good. There's a purpose.
You could just go around and find.
Really, really like that. I do. I do. I do.
You could just go around and find folks who did what you did, you know, and talk about stuff that you cared about.
He's going to find something. He's going to have...
Okay.
You know, and talk about stuff that you cared about.
Now it seems like here is where we need another card, and again, I've got something going on there. So again, now that we're moving and shifting things, we're obviously mucking about with the timeline, but that's okay, right? That's totally fine. Concise language for the win, yes, Kevin. And you don't have to put on pants. True. I would like to also mention that for tomorrow, Friday the 3rd, I'm going to be doing a master class, 10:30 a.m. Pacific time, here on Adobe Live, and it is a live recording and relaxation session. So I'll be at the piano. I've got a streaming setup down there at the Baby Grand, and I'll be tickling ivories and singing as well. I was trying to think of another word for it. I don't know what's going on. For an hour tomorrow. So, and I'll be doing kind of first half hour probably be just random songs and some things. You're also going to I have to warm up. So it's going to be the actual warm up. That's part of the master class. Part of the relaxation is my warm up too. So you're going to get to go through all of that. And it's not that bad, believe me. And then the second half, I was thinking I'll do a lot of my children's songs. So, and one of them is called Put Your Pants On, available on Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play, and wherever music is streamed or sold. So it's a lot of fun. It's blues. It's quite hilarious. If you have little ones or even big ones, or now that we are all kind of in this situation working remotely, I mean, I am wearing pants right now, or am I? Nobody knows. All right. I do live in the desert, and it's warm here, so, you know. Jorge de la Mora. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. All right. Bernadette, that's awesome. Great. Steve Fortin. Just do simple. No animation and clean cut, easy to read is the purpose for this plate. Find a 1970 font. I like where you're coming from, Steve. We're definitely on the same page there. Awesome. Oh, and thank you, Lessa. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Okay. Nice bold look there. Thin and bold looks cool. Okay, cool, Colin. Like that. All right, we'll keep it for now, and then maybe we'll do an alternate with no animation. Abu. Yes, you can use AMD. So I think you're talking about if you're trying to leverage GPU acceleration. You can now use GPU acceleration with any kind of card that you have. Doesn't have to be NVIDIA like it once did. So if you go into your general settings, again, this will depend on the operating system that you're in. But if you're on the Mac like I am in this case, you're seeing that we're just using the standard metal GPU acceleration. You have the deprecated OpenCL. Don't really recommend that. It's deprecated for a reason. It's old. And then you also have just software only, which is no GPU acceleration. And in some NVIDIA configurations, you can still leverage CUDA, although, and that mostly on the PC. I don't know what the situation is on the Mac anymore. I'm kind of out of the NVIDIA CUDA game just because I don't have any machines that use them anymore. And I know, it's always a driver thing with that. So be sure you have the right driver. I will say on my older system that still has a G750M, I use CUDA when I can. It's also an older OS. And it works. It works. It does what it has to do. All right. Michael Sampson. Yep, make it a split second longer for ease of reading for those who don't read fast. Absolutely. Don't forget to center those text blocks once the copy's locked in. Yes, very good. Yes, music set the rhythm. He defines the purpose. Oh, Jorge, I like that too. I like that too. All right, I'm going to put that as an alternate. So we're going to use these notes. I won't change it right now, Jorge, but I really do like that. Music set the rhythm. What is it? He defined the purpose. I like it. Never seeking glory, only seeking meaning, only seeking connection. Yeah, only seeking meaningful connection is like too long, right? So never seeking glory, only seeking connection. That'll be the next one. And I think that needs to go right here. Okay. So once again, let's, gonna need to move some things out. So let's select all of this. All right. So we can make this a second longer. Bring this back. And then we need to extend these bits there. Yeah, and honestly, you kind of need it to be 4 seconds. I don't know. I was thinking it was so short with 2 seconds. I guess some of the ones I watched, they were 2 seconds. And maybe the text was just very, very short, so it was enough. But I'm with you. It's too fast. It's too fast. Okay.
Stuff that you cared about.
Looks like we need to move this out even more, actually. All right. Let's go back. Drag it. Oh, you see, I just dragged it from the other side. So that's the other nice thing about these templates, especially the responsive ones. You just drag to fit from either side. And again, the animation respects those protected sections, right? And by the way, like for this, so because we actually don't have it overly shrunken, so when you select this, this is where you can you can actually see it's protecting 2 seconds and 20 frames for that intro animation, and then the outro, that fade out, it's 4 frames. So it's super fast. It's really, really fast. We might want to adjust that, to be honest. Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that. Okay. So what did I just say? What's this one? Never seeking glory, only seeking connection. Okay. Never seeking glory. Do I need a comma? I feel like with this text style change, I don't really need the comma. I know I would use the comma if it were regular, written down text, but for this, I wonder if I actually need it.
Did what you did, talk about stuff that you cared about.
Oh, that music is absolutely just not it. Not it, Chief. I like it for that first moment, but I don't even know if I like it for that anymore, so I got to turn it off.
Stuff that you cared about.
So that works, right? That's
Cared
legible.
about.
Never seeking glory, only seeking connection.
He's going to find something. He's going to have
I
something.
feel like you got to have cymbals crashing or something in there. Not because it's not an epic, That's not to diminish the importance. It's just, it's not.
He's
that
going to
kind of
find
film.
something. He's going to have some element that you're going to connect with. That's going to keep you listening.
Did I just do that again? Happy accident part 2. Before I said it in advance of the text, now I'm saying it after. So I have to see if that works too.
He's going to find something. He's going to have some element that you're going to connect with. That's going to keep you listening.
All right. Now let's see what else we got here. Forging bonds that last a lifetime. Creating a soundtrack that is timeless for all generations. Okay. Let's see what else we have here in terms of content. What else is playing? Sounds fun. Pants optional. Good flow. Comma. Kevin O'Brien. Kevin wants... Kay, is that you tuning in? You're saying comma, huh? All right, let's see what it looks like with the comma.
Oh.
It's also not centered, so I don't know if that's just bothering me, but do we like the comma? Yes, I will center it, Mike, after the fact. We're just trying to get it in place here to see if this works and just kind of get the timing. We'll finesse the look and the size later. Do we like the comma? Kevin says yes. Avoid using that. Yes. All right. Please warp stabilize at 30 seconds. Yes, again, all of that, this will happen. And by the way, I may have to cut away from some of this because it is a little shaky.
Some element that you're going to connect with.
And while you're at it, while you set it, let's just add the warp to these clips and see if it works. And if it does a good job, it may not. The other option is B-roll. Frankly, I want more B-roll anyway. I don't love this shot of me. You know, it's not awesome. Let's see how these did, though.
He's going to find something. He's going to have some element that you're going to connect with.
Oh, actually did a pretty good job. Now, curiously, see now, the default is not to use no motion but smooth motion. So it's actually pretty good, and I'm not seeing any artifacting or very noticeable artifacting. But really what I want is no motion. So let's see how that looks, because I just want to lock this down.
He's going to find something. He's going to have some element that you're going to connect with. That's going to keep... And I must have some element that you're going to...
My ceiling is bending when it's on no motion. So let's see what smooth motion looks like again. That might be a little less weird looking.
He's going to find something. He's going to have some element that you're going to connect with. And element that you're going to connect with. That's going to keep you listening. And so keep you listening.
Okay, now this one, it doesn't look good, which is unfortunate because that's the part I would actually want to show on camera. Let's see if no motion helps that.
That's going to keep you listening. So that's going to keep you that's going to keep you listening.
Ah, ceiling is moving. All right, we'll keep it at smooth for now.
Something. He's going to have some element that you're going to connect with.
First part is fine.
That's going to keep you listening.
Second part sucks. All right, we'll worry about that after. But thank you. Good suggestion, Steve. All right. Chris Grosso. Or 3 dots. Yes, the ellipsis. Oh, yeah. You know what? Maybe that's what it is. Never seeking glory. Maybe that's what it needs. I'm a big user of ellipses.
That you cared about.
He's going to find something. He's going to have some element that you're going to connect with. That's going to keep you listening.
And by the way, yes, that is a jump cut there. So again, intended to be B-rolled over. But yeah, that actually, I think that, what do you think? I think that kind of works. I like that. Another good suggestion. Michael likes the comma. 2 separate thoughts, so it does work technically. I love it. Forget it. Fits the poem lyric vibe. Thank you, Kevin. Sweet. Colin is soaking it up. Nice. Good flow. Nice one. Mushroom ceilings. Mushroom ceilings or ceilings on mushrooms? Maybe drop the second seeking just use connection. Oh! Never seeking glory, only connection. Another good one.
Stuff that you cared about.
He's going to find something.
I like that. Yeah, less again. We will center. We'll reorient everything afterwards. Again, right for right now, we're just trying to get it laid in for timing. So we'll finesse it later. Same with like the look, and it's not all quite there. Yes. Okay. Good. Moving on. So what the next one? Forging bonds that last a lifetime. So the reason I had that in there is because the whole idea behind this documentary. So it's me being interviewed about him and our connection and his influence on me and many others. But we're the two primary people who are talking in this documentary. So I wanted to really emphasize that, we've had this playful. We've had this connection playing together for, as I showed yesterday, literally 33 years. I do have a recording. I don't have it with me, unfortunately. I'd love to play it for you. Actually, I don't know if I'd love to play it for you. I haven't heard it in 30 years myself. But I do have our first recording from those sessions circa 1987. And it was a song of his that he composed called I Fall Asleep Thinking of You. And I'm playing, I think I might be playing acoustic guitar, piano, and I'm playing a sampled flute. Now, not just any flute. One of these days, people keep asking me if I'll ever do like a studio tour, and I think I might have to do that for one of my daily streams. But I have a whole array of classic samplers, Akai samplers, if anybody remembers those. And on my S612 samplers, which are the original old school OG 12-bit Akai samplers, I have the original direct sampled Mellotron flutes, the Mellotron made famous by many, many people, but specifically the flute sound by the Beatles on Strawberry Fields Forever. So I'm actually playing that flute on this track that we cut together and singing a very bad harmony because admittedly my voice was not dialed in at all in those days. I was really not a singer. But he inspired me to do it. I was so horrified at how bad I sounded. And he was like, I have a line about that where, you sang it the way you sang it. No one else will sing it that way. Well, that is true. I don't think anyone could have sang it quite so badly. I did start playing when I was 6. That is true. The first song I learned, so a really good ear player, the first song I learned by ear that I just remember playing and showing to my parents was Sir Duke by Stevie Wonder. Da 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 da, do 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 do, right? So funny. What's up, Jesse D? Kevin Edward, how many instruments do you play? Quite a few. So I was a concert piano player when I was young, and I still play daily, but I got out of classical and all of that because I just didn't want to do it anymore and didn't like the scene. And talk about communities, those communities in the 80s, you can imagine. I mean, you saw me, and I did it up until I was about 13. So the year after that, I was already kind of looking like this. And it was me, this kind of like, I'm already into the Beatles and the Doors and Zeppelin and Deep Purple and Uriah Heep and like rock. And, I would kind of show up kind of looking that way. And then everybody else, they were like very proper kids, in the New York area going for their piano recitals. And it was just such a mismatch. And I had no friends in that world at all. Everybody just like scoffing until I did my performance. And then people were nice, but then it was like, nah, you were mean to me. So no, thank you. There was no talk to the hand then. There's no talk to the hand now. That's already old school, but yeah, people were mean. But so number of instruments, I don't know, a lot. Piano, bass, electric, acoustic, fretless, trumpet, as I mentioned. I can fake guitar. I'm a really lousy guitar player. I'm a decent lead player. I can fake and comp chords, but I'm not a guitarist at all. I play the cello. I play the drums. I've been playing drums for 30-some years. I play drums on a lot of my songs. I said cello. Yeah, I mean, all kinds of mallet percussion, just because I had to do it briefly in school because they wouldn't let me play the piano. you know, I can play, I can tabla, so I can rock tablas learned by, well, just by listening to a lot of Ala Raka from various Ravi Shankar records, and very inspired by that. So I'm a fairly decent tabla player, and a bunch of other things too. But those are kind of the main ones: piano, bass, drums, and cello, and then kind of a smattering of stuff on top. Lessa plays the doorbell. Oh, very nice. Yes. Steve Ford. Music is my inspiration. Yes. Nice. Jason says connected. Matt, something about reading the word connection and then hearing you say it in the next clip feels like parroting, but it could just be me. No. I think you're right. So we have to find that. Forging bonds that last a lifetime. Lose that. Like that. Okay. This is great. All good stuff here. Yes, and by the way, it's the bass dude. I play Rickenbacker. That's my main bass. Has been for 31 years. Still have it. It still rocks. It is Fire Glow, and it's my favorite. Okay.
It's going to have some element that you're going to connect with. That's going to keep you listening.
When everything is working, when the timing is just right, and you're sort of like talking back.
Okay, so we got to move stuff again. All right. So I'm going to get rid of this. And hold on before I do that.
Listening.
So we're going to have B-roll, right? It'll be B-roll,
B-roll.
B-roll, B-roll.
He's going to have some
B-roll,
element
B-roll,
that you're going to
B-roll.
connect with. That's going to keep you
Me,
listening.
title card. Okay, so where is that? So that's at approximately 34, 21. Okay, so we need to go to like 38.
When everything is working, when the time.
All right, so we'll go right about here. So again, I'm just kind of giving myself that space because we know we want it to be about 4 seconds. That seems to be kind of the magic number for making it readable, legible, all that. All right. I'll tell you, the Zoom stuff on here is very, I don't like the way these work. I don't like. Oh, maybe I should just do it right on here. Yeah, isn't that interesting? Okay. Slot that right in there. Okay. What did I say about this? Forging bonds or something? Forging bonds. Lasting a lifetime. Accordion or bagpipes? I can play the accordion. Bagpipes, no. I've tried once. But that didn't go very well. Jacqueline, yes, and I am a singer as well. Again, have I ever been a fan of Santana? Yes, but very specifically, I like the early, late 60s up to like Abraxas, or the album right after. Maybe it's Santana 3. Was Abraxas before that? Up until about 72 is really when I loved the band. I mean, he's amazing, but I really loved the band sound up until about 71, 72. All the stuff with Greg Rowley, who would later go on to form Journey. But Michael Shreve was still the drummer. I'm forgetting the bass player name. Super awesome bass player. Very famously featured in the Woodstock film playing Soul Sacrifice. Do 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 do. Just such a great line. Do 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 do. He does this awesome bend. Man, I remember hearing that for the first time. I was already playing bass, and I was like, I'm going to play that right now and just kind of play that ostinato for like 20 minutes. By the way, how you get really good at timing and tempo, aside from playing with a metronome for hours a day, which I used to do, which I'm very grateful for my teacher making me do, playing a line ostinato over and over, it's freaking hard to do. Do it. That's why you had all these great like groove bass players in the late 60s and 70s, because this is what people did. You'd hang on it. And when you play it, the more you play it, the more you solidify it, you feel it, and you just lock in the timing. All right. Any cover band that played a Stevie Wonder song instantly went up 5 points in my respect. Oh, nice. Yes. And in a band I was once in, of course, we did Superstition because I love the Hohner D6 clavinet. And I learned how to play that so that you got to have that whole syncopated rhythm thing. He taught that to me. Like I can remember being 6 or 7, 8, finally getting a polyphonic keyboard and being able to do that syncopated rhythm and just like, mind explosion. And then to hear it with a proper clavinet sound, which I didn't get to do for years later. Oof, it does something to me. Okay. So do we like this forging bonds that last? Someone said, don't put that. Lasting a lifetime? Forging a bond that lasts a lifetime? Forging bonds? I don't even love that line. What are your thoughts on that, chat? Oh, and you know what I forgot to do? They're going to yell at me. It's my bad. Let's take 2, because I forgot to give you the schedule. Seems appropriate now because we're at the halfway mark. So, just to keep you all engaged for the rest of the day. So coming up after me, I believe we've got my friend and yours, Paul Tranny, with the Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge. At noon Pacific, we've got graphic design with Julia Masalska. At 2 p.m. Pacific, we have the XD Creative Challenge with Howard. And at 2:30, the Creative Design Off with Voodoo Val and Alex Azaris. Oh, and Voodoo Val's on twice today. Oh, wow. Voodoo Val. Rocking it multiple times. All right. So that's coming up again later today. Apologies, team, for not showing you the schedule earlier. All right. Anna, you played the violin in school. Wish it stuck more. Yeah, my kids played it too. It's kind of one of those things that if you really like it, you have to really dig it, right? And I got into cello curiously because, again, I was already a teenager. But when I learned that Jack Bruce, the late, great Jack Bruce of Cream, actually, he was a huge influence on my bass playing. And when I learned that he had actually learned or gotten the 2 elements, one, Bach, who in many circles, including some of my own, the king of all bass players. I'm also left-handed, so I'm very left-hand dominant. So Bach, with so much counterpoint and very, very articulate, busy left-handed bass lines, that's my jam. That was the stuff I flocked to. I think that's why I wanted to play bass so badly. So I learned that Jack Bruce was very influenced by Bach, but at the time didn't have bass as a kid. He went to a conservatory, so they made him play cello, the bass equivalent to the bassier equivalent to the violin. I guess there's contrabass as well. But and he just learned how to rock like super bassy, super cool bass lines on cello. That's kind of what inspired it for me. And I had no formal training there. I just kind of picked it up just from inspiration, and I love it. Kent, what instrument would you recommend for grade school kids to learn? Want to start me kids while on break? So, the truth is, most people will tell you this, but, piano is a great place to start if you have access to one, because David Brown, that's the guy from Santana, yes. Piano's great because if you can play the piano, you can really, harmonically, you can almost pick up anything and play or understand the concept. So it's a great way to really familiarize yourself with melody, harmony, and all those things. Obviously, that's not an absolute, but if you start with piano, which I did, like picking up other instruments just comes pretty organically. Brenda, kind of bummed you didn't sing us through your workflow today. Aw, well, thanks. Akin, oh yeah, you got to check out that era. The first 3 records are killer. Killer. Is the Roland Phantom 8 any good to buy? I need one. Yeah, I mean, the Phantom series, all those new synths, they're all pretty amazing. I mean, it just depends what you want. For me, and I had friends who bought stuff, I told them, forging bonds, I told them, you know, don't get it because it has like beautiful lights and all this other stuff. Get it if you want to learn piano based on like how do the keys feel? How is the key feel? One thing I will say, forging bonds that last a lifetime. Is that what it is? Oh, I hate that line already. Forging bonds that last a lifetime. Ugh, I don't even like that. The thing is, if you're going to learn piano or want to learn piano, and you aspire to actually play a piano, so it's just a little difference, right? Difference between keyboard and piano. To play piano properly, you need to be able to feel those weighted keys, right? You're actually pushing down something. It's a tactile feeling, pushing a key, which triggers a hammer, which, you know, hits a string and emits sound. And a lot of the, not just, I mean, I think Phantoms, you can get them in weighted key configurations, but a lot of keyboards out there, they might have like what appear to be weighted or full keys, but they don't have the right feel. So it just kind of depends, you know, you got to, but it's what you like, you know, if you're not looking to be a pianist, it doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter anyway. If you just want to make some music, get what you like. Phantoms are expensive, but yes, they're all great. The sound banks are great.
That's going to keep you listening.
Forging bonds that last a lifetime.
When everything is working, when the timing is just right, and you're sort of like talking back and forth with your instruments, and you just sort of feel what's going on, nothing else is going on.
I like that. I like how that works. Creating everlasting bonds. Oh, maybe that's enough. And maybe creating is the first word. Creating, or maybe creating an everlasting bond, because it's primarily me. Alt, creating an everlasting bond. I like that. I like that, Matt. Oh, is the schedule not right, Tim? Sorry, it's actually a draw along with Kyle. Okay. Oh, it's not right at all. Okay, that's the file I got from the team, so the rest should be correct. Okay, well, hey, what are you gonna do? Michelle played bass when she was young. Very nice. Oh yeah, actually, Steve, I've seen that video on YouTube with the three women playing the bagpipes. It is awesome. What sort of music would you write for a schlock horror about vampire babies and killer chickens? Asking for a friend who's conforming that while watching you. You know, I just might have something for you. That's very much up my alley. Oh, nice. And thank you, Anna. Kent, they're learning the recorder. Oh, yes. It's funny. My older son, he's relearning the recorder. He took it in, I don't know, first grade or kindergarten or something, and now in 7th grade, he's having to play it again. Okay. And what did I say instead? Creating an everlasting bond. Maybe that's it. Maybe we'll go with that instead. Okay. Forging everlasting bonds. Forging everlasting bonds. Creating, forging. I'm torn. Creating, forging. It's not a pretty word. Creating. Everlasting bond. Very fast on screen.
connect with. That's going to keep you listening.
Okay, we're going to move this. I'm going to cut that in half. Better. Way better. Just by making that global opacity adjustment right there, way better.
When everything is working, when the timing is just right, and you're sort of like talking back and forth with your instruments, you just sort of feel what's going on. Nothing else is going on.
Okay. Next one. See, and then I have another one. Creating a soundtrack that is timeless for all generations.
You know, after nearly 30 years, we're still making records together.
When nothing else is going on except what you're doing, that's like a piece of heaven. There's a pleasure in that what's going on. Nothing else is going on.
See, these are like adjacent parts of that phrase. So I don't know if this
Is going
works
on
now.
except what you're doing, that's like a piece of heaven.
I may have to find a little insert here where he says something about, you know, playing and cut out the when nothing else is going on bit, because it just, that sounds a little too repetitive there.
When nothing else is going on except what
A timeless soundtrack for all generations. How about that instead? A timeless soundtrack for all generations.
what you're doing.
Still making records together.
When nothing else is going on except what you're doing, that's like a piece of heaven. There's
This trailer just got like 20 seconds longer. All right. That's okay. Okay. Come back here. What did I just say again? Timeless soundtrack for all generations. It's kind of presumptuous. Generations old and new. All generations are old and new. What do you think? Looking at the chat. Heather likes forging. All right, maybe we'll put it. Cullen, do I read and write sheet music? Yes. And I actually physically write it. I haven't in quite a few years because I just don't need to, but I actually do write sheet music. I used to really enjoy doing it. I don't like writing at all anymore because I almost never write anything, right? Physically. So doing it is very, it's very time consuming, and I'm I'm pretty OCD when it comes to writing notes on a staff. So it's always done in pencil, or occasionally I've done it in ink. But yeah, I absolutely write and really love doing it, actually. Jorge, is it possible to move the clips with arrow key or something similar? Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm not a keyboard shortcut person. So yeah, that's just because, and it's from years of having to demo in translated, different language versions of the software, where the keyboard shortcuts are different based on the keyboard in that region. So I just never really worked with shortcuts. One, because that's just not my nature, but also when it was specific functions, I remember very classically actually doing a gig in Japan, and I'm just looking if anyone has any comment on the forever and ever. All generations. Okay. I remember doing a gig in Japan, and I remember getting there. This is 10, 15 years ago, even more than that probably. And I remember getting there and launching Premiere, first noticing that the OS was in Japanese, as it should be. We're in Japan. And I remember I was doing a training session for press and people, and on Premiere, it's probably Premiere CS or CS2 or something like that, and opened the app, and it too was in Japanese. So again, like if I were looking for keyboard shortcut, it's Japanese keyboard, everything's different. So, but I remember doing everything, and I remember like there was a point where I had to go to export. So I open up the file menu, and of course it's Japanese. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I know that, the third to last arrow down, fly out down is export, and the top option here is media. And, just like that, it was very easy for me to navigate. So I remember even like sequence, of course the menus are very different then, but the menus are consistent. So that's kind of what got me out of even really attempting to use shortcuts all that much. Okay. Jorge, only my stuff has a little bit of the shake, and I don't mind it. Like this clip, the other one was annoying. This one it's okay. We'll see. Again, a lot of this, there's going to be B-roll over top of it. I was hoping we might get to some of it today.
We're still making
we
records
still might
together.
After we take a look at how these things come
Records together.
When nothing else is going on.
Together.
When nothing else is going on except what you're doing, that's like a piece of heaven. There's a pleasure in that I don't know how you get any other way.
Oh, Kevin. Nice. All right.
Yeah, we're looking at it any other way.
All right, that little acknowledgement with the head.
Isn't that why you do that stuff? To connect. I don't know how you get any other way.
Now, you know what's weird? I had... Huh. I think I deleted something by accident. I did.
Isn't that why you do that stuff? To connect.
I messed something up in here. I think this was before I got on stream because I had a piece of me talking there. All right, so this is the final title card, although I think we need one more. Feels like we're missing something. Right? Feels like it to me. Okay, yeah, that's going on video 4. Okay, let's get one more in here. To connect. And then this is, so this will be interesting because this is the title of the film, which I don't still have. Feeling Fuzzy. That was the best I came up with. Feeling. Everyone's like, that's the worst name ever. And that needs to push forward as well.
Seven's a lucky number.
All right, and then the last one here, which will have the like coming spring 2022. spring 2022. And that needs to be extended. Now, I don't normally do this. Let's is that really it? It's cut off like that? I guess this must have been a loop. That's why. Let's do a little experiment here. I'm going to edit this clip in Audition. See if I can extend this a little bit. All right. Fuzzy feelings. Ooh, Kevin, I like that better. Feeling, yeah, you're right. And that also seems less inappropriate. Fuzzy feelings? What? You just reversed the words? You just blew my mind. All right, we're changing that. Very good. Good suggestion. Okay. I don't want to mess that original strum. Well, let's see. Let me see what we can do with this. So I want to make this, it's 2.5 seconds. What happened if I made this exactly 5? I don't want to pitch shift it at all. So it's a 200% stretch. It's a solo instrument, but it's polyphonic. Let's see how that sounds. Oh, okay. Nope. All right. Let's see if this is better. Nope. Let's try it with ours. Did all my lights just go out? My lights just went out. Okay, that's not going to work. So, as I was saying, I don't want to mess about with the strum because that's going to get weird. Now, if we resampled that, that would actually sound much more natural. Of course, it'll be slowed down because we'd be slowing it down, which means the pitch would change, which we don't want. So maybe if we just pitch shift this section here at the end, and that might be a little less crummy. Let's go back to the isotope one. All right. So in this case, we still have the same stretch on that end bit. See if the pitch coherence is at 0. Let's try 1.5. Not bad. Let's see what happens if we do solo instrument. I go up a little bit more. Hold on, I gotta. Let's go back down to just below 1 and see. No, all right. Somewhere in the middle there. Yeah, it's getting this weird, like, bassy undertone. But that's okay, because we'll add a little reverb. We'll start to fade that out. We'll use a pre-fader reverb so that the signal continues to reverberate, even though we'll be fading down the dry signal, and it'll mask that weirdness. So I'm going to apply this, okay? and I'm going to save. Now, when you do the edit clip in Audition, it's creating a copy. So the original duration version of this still exists in the project. It's still there. But right now we are destructively modifying, replacing the sound file that's there. So I'm going to go ahead and save. All right, you can see this is now a new duration of just under 4 seconds. So that was that was about as much as we could get here without it starting to sound kind of bizarre. And when I click back to Premiere, what you will see is that the waveform, did you see it kind of blink right there? And now you can see I'm able to drag it out further, right? So we just got that extra extended length here. And again, we could put a little reverb on there. So let's create a bus. It's going to be a process right now. Again, this UI is so weird right here. So we're going to create a stereo submix. All right. And we'll call this verb. And on the verb submix, let's go ahead and place a studio reverb. And I kind of want a hall, but I want it a little bit brighter. So I'll choose a grade hall because this is going to be a pre-fader. It'll be 100% wet, 0% dry. High frequency cut is at 4K. We're going to lose some of the sparkle of that bright acoustic guitar. So let's put it to around 5500. Low frequency at 300 is fine. We don't want to dampen as much, maybe about 75%. And we'll do about 60% diffusion. Slightly more early reflection, which is going to make it just that. It's going to make it appear more reflective. Stereo width that's fairly wide. I'm going to narrow it just a little. And if we come over to, what is it, track 4. So we want to do pre-fader. That's key, right? So pre-fader means that the master fader here is independent of what's being sent to the reverb, which is exactly what we want, okay? And this volume here represents the amount that we're sending to that reverb. So if I come down here, first of all, what we need to do, because it doesn't really have a fade out. It's weird that it looks like that. We're going to do a gradual fade here for this last little bit. You can already hear what it's doing, which is great. All right. And that should be, I think that's fine. Let's see, I don't know how loud that's going to be, but. Nice, right? Oh, and the audio, I have my talking audio on that channel? Okay, we don't want that. Wait a minute, why that's on channel 2. Why is that going over there? Okay, let's see. Let's see what we're doing here. All right. Just looking back at the chat. Yes, I am using Wirecast. The main reason for using Wirecast is because we simulcast. And so first and foremost, you can I do generally not on Adobe Live, but on the regular daily streams, they go to 4 networks simultaneously. And then outside of that, what? So weird. Why is there anything going there? Do you see that? It's going to... Why should anything on channel 2 be going to that bus? What is going on here? What's happening? Why is anything going there? What is happening? I even have it muted. You shouldn't be hearing anything. What? Let's just see what's going on here. What? Oh, because I put it on the master. Oh my god. What? It's just not enough screen real estate. I couldn't see. God, what a doofus. Okay, let's do this again. Doofus. Going, how is that possible? How is everything getting reverb? What? That's why. I was saying like, oh, the UI is so small, I can't see. It's my fault. Okay, high frequency, let's do 55 again. What did I say? About 75 and 60-ish. 100% wet, 0% dry, slightly less wide, early reflection, more, good. That is now fine, and it's not on the master, so that makes more sense.
7's a lucky number. Many colors in the 7's a lucky number.
And we need, and now the reverb is off, of course. That's why I'm not hearing it now. Going, what else is happening? I muted it. Okay, so we can use a little bit more. It's very quiet now. I turned that all the way down. Okay, we'll give it a little bit more. And also we don't want post, we want pre. Changed all of that, trying to troubleshoot. Oh my God, what is happening? It's not enough still. There we go.
It's a lucky number.
Okay. All right. Got somewhere. Sheesh. Ugh. UI. Oh. I'm so confined. You feel me? I have to for the stream though. I can't work like in a super high res. Just because I can't see it. So it's got to be 1920, 1080 for the stream. Also, you wouldn't be able to see it. I'd have to be zooming on every single thing. Okay, so what did we say? Oh, we said fuzzy feelings. Yes. Feeling fuzzy. Fuzzy feelings. Instead. Is that the right one? What is happening? What am I doing? That's not the one I want either. This is what I'm talking about. I don't even know where I am. Fuzzy feelings. Feelings. Feelings looks weird.
Seven's a lucky number. Many colors in the best.
And that needs to linger, right? I need to hang on a little longer. Do that same thing here.
Next.
Fuzzy feelings.
Seven's a lucky number.
Okay. Good grief. About time. All right. So let's now just kind of watch back and see, now that we placed all these title cards in there, and see if this makes any kind of sense. All right. Yes. Yeah, we'll fix the transitions there. It was just kind of seeing if that's going to work to extend those. Yeah. Matt, that's a new way of adding audio effects in Premiere that you've never seen. Oh, yeah. Nice. Yeah, so, I mean, I've shown this many times on stream, and this is something which, you know, again, you got to... The mixer here, really, you know, I should have it, like, docked here, because it's just... It's too hard to see if you have the effects inserts and the send modules open. It needs to be high. It can't be compressed, because then you're going to make the mistake I did, which is place an effect on the master because I thought I was one track before. So yeah, so the key is we're just using submixes. It's effectively bussing. So right, if you're on Audition, we refer to them as buses. But the key is pre-fader, right? So again, that gives you total control of the raw original volume of that acoustic guitar on this track 4. And we're sending the signal to that reverb before it hits that fader, which means that the echo will always be on that reverb fader independently. So that'll extend even after this one fades out, which is real nice. And, you know, this is a technique used in all kinds of sound design when you have, and I've shown this on stream actually on Adobe Live once before, where like someone's running when there's Foley sounds and they're running and they approach camera. So as they approach camera, you know, they're not breaking the fourth wall, but as they get closer, you know, you're visualizing them closer in frame, it's drier, right? But now they're running away from you. It starts to get echoey and ambient. That's how they do it. So you still have the dry signal, but you're just gradually raising the fader of that echo. You know, if they're in like a garage or something, right? The further they get away, the more of that echo you're going to hear. So you can control those independently. If you have it set at post fader, when you adjust the reverb or whatever effect it is tied to the volume of that original signal. So if you move it up or down, it's always the same amount of reverb and the same amount of dry signal when it's post fader. When it's pre, you have independent control, which is really nice. Yeah, feelings is a bit small. Yeah, the whole thing is a bit small. I mean, it needs to be, overall, it needs to be way bigger. So let's just do that right now, because it is bothering me too. 115-ish, maybe. Do we like that? Or I should say, what do we think about that? Oh, whoops. Oh, and by the way, snap and program monitor. Why am I doing this? Because this is going to give me a nice little center snap. So this is something that we added in the spring of last year, actually I think at NAB last year, which this was used for guides, rulers and guides. So, you know, you have these now in Premiere. So if we wanted to show our rulers just like you have in Photoshop, and I don't know if I even have any guides in here anymore. Oh, I do. Yeah, there you go. So I have some. I'd have to bring them in now. We can clear those. But you can make guides for yourself and
connect.
Fuzzy feelings. I don't know why that's moving a little right there. That's weird. Oh, because it probably keyframed the movement because I did that adjustment. Okay, that's fine. We'll fix that later. I'm not super concerned about that. I just needed it a little bit bigger. Okay. But that option that I just showed you there, snapping and program monitor, so that's great. If you have guides, you'll see those red dotted lines. It'll snap you to the guides, but also you'll be able to snap to, you know, center and left of center, like as you saw, vertical center, horizontal center by selecting multiple layers. Makes it really easy to align stuff. Which was not quite as easy as before. All right. Now let's save this.
It's Fuzzy Island, and I play music, I write stories, tell stories.
I mean, that's the thing about Fuzzy. He's always listening. Every note that he plays, there's a purpose.
you could just go around and find folks who did what you did, you know, and talk about stuff that you cared about.
He's going to find something. He's going to have some element that you're going to connect with. That's going to keep you listening.
When everything is working, when the timing is just right, and you're sort of like talking back and forth with your instruments, you just sort of feel what's going on, nothing else is going on.
You know, after nearly 30 years, we're still making records together.
When nothing else is going on except what you're doing, that's like a piece of heaven. There's a pleasure in that I don't know how you get any other way. Isn't that why you do that stuff? To connect.
Seven's a lucky number.
Okay. It's a framework, right? We're kind of getting there. We're getting somewhere. Now, what's going to be really essential, of course, is having all the B-roll in here. Now, we're not going to get to it really today. What I did want to show you, though, is I found a couple of fun stills, and this was something I'm thinking maybe I'll even do this next week on another stream. But like this is a pic that that he sent me from 1969. So great. Look at the styles and everything and the hair. Love it. I mean, that just screams 1969 right there. Amazingly, too, remember we showed this. So this is 69, and I showed you the video from 87, and then you get to see him in 2014. The man doesn't age. I mean, and he has like 27 gray hairs total, you know. It's pretty amazing. But yeah, so what I was thinking of doing, it's a little difficult because this image is slightly well, not really overexposed, but I guess there's a decent amount of detail. Kind of do the Ken Burns thing on this image. So basically cut the people out, right? Fill in the background, content aware fill in Photoshop. So create layers for the 4 people. Fill in the backgrounds where they were standing, and then in After Effects, bring in all the layers with that filled in background, 3D camera, and then, you know, just either do the pan or do the, you know, the camera tilt or whatever, or just, you know, kind of pushing in, but to create that kind of pseudo 3D kind of thing, as opposed to just pushing in with a position or scale keyframe rather. So, you know, to use some of these stills, as B-roll, but moving B-roll. By the way, for those of you interested, the album that I was talking about, and again, you can find this everywhere. This is the one that's out there now, this little EP. It's called 2 Centuries of American Music, and probably use a track or two from there as some of the soundtracks here, you know, which is pretty cool. This is a random archive shot of the two of us. I don't even know how old this is. This could be like I'm looking at my hair. I'm going, well, it's definitely pre-2010. This could be like 2007. Looking a little puffy there. I don't know what's going on with that. But we were jamming. And then what's funny is we're in his apartment again, but this is year before I was born. Nice. Jan, oh, that's weird. I just saw the stream drop. What just happened there? Okay, it's still going. That's really strange. How bizarre. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what just happened there. I just saw the stream drop and come back on. I don't know if that was a YouTube thing or what. Anyway, what was I saying about that? Now I lost my train of thought. Weird. Okay. Well, I think we made some good progress. Oh, Samuel L. Jackson. We were watching the first Avengers last night, and I made that comment to one of my sons. I was like, the man doesn't age. Because we were talking about older films of his. And I said, if you look at Pulp Fiction, look at, you know, Die Hard 4, look at all these films. He doesn't age at all. He's amazing. And he's one of my favorite actors too. Steve Fortin, thank you for sharing your sound editing expertise with Audition. Ah, thank you so much, Steve. My pleasure. All right. Yes. Little guy walking here. That's 2004. Dear friend O'Brien, 2004 in London. I remember that. All right. Matt, I usually do my audio editing fully in Audition, but it's because I work in radio. So do I. So for something like this, where it's just sort of minimal, I do it here. If this involved a huge mix or remix, I would absolutely do this, which is, and in fact, maybe this is what I'll close with this, just to kind of show you how this all works. It's actually pretty cool for those of you who've never seen. So let's say that we didn't want to do the audio mix here, and we wanted to do it in Audition, which is typically what I do anyway. So you have the ability to leverage dynamic link to do just that, and it'll give you a real-time update of the video inside of Audition as well. So you can choose, you have to make sure your timeline is selected, and choose Edit in Audition Sequence. And we can it'll just keep the name Main Timeline. It's going to build a folder for you called Adobe Audition Interchange. We're going to do the entire sequence. We're going to send the video through dynamic link as opposed to rendering a video. So it's not instantaneous because it has to launch Audition, but it's fairly instantaneous because it's not rendering anything. You can choose to have audio handles. Any audio clip or track effects, you can transfer those as opposed to removing them. So that's very cool. Volume and pan info. So where we did a couple of little volume envelopes on that acoustic guitar at the end, that will transfer over non-destructively. So when you click OK on this, you'll see it's going to prepare. It'll launch Audition, and there it is. Like, that's it. So easy, so simple. Okay, everything's in here. And then you just have your main video up at the top here.
Name's Fuzzy Eye.
Okay, that's weird. I don't know why it's doing that. But what's super cool about this, let me just show you real briefly, is again, the video is dynamic. So let's say I were to come back over to Premiere, and as I'm doing that, I start, which is something I do a lot, which is as I'm playing it back, I'm like, take a break from audio for a second. Maybe I want to work on some color. So maybe I just want to throw just like some kind of a LUT on here to, I don't know, change the vibe. So let me find one that I like. I kind of like these. I don't really want to use this, but maybe. SL big. Okay. Yeah, not the look I really wanted to go for, but all right. Let's just say that I
Play music, or write music, write stories.
So there's the before, there's the after, okay? When I click back over to Audition, as you can see, it just updated, right? So now we're seeing the changes that I made live here, right? And then if I go back to Premiere, I'm like, on second thought, I don't really like that. So I undo it, back to Audition, and it undoes it. It removes the change, just like that. So it's another really cool way to work. And again, you have a lot of flexibility when it comes to all of these things. So my friends, that is just about all the time we have. So thank you so much for all the amazing chat, all the amazing suggestions, helping me come up with some better lines, better titles for those title cards. This is far from done, obviously. And look, it was, as I told you yesterday, a pretty impossible task to try to cut a trailer together in 4 hours. But we've made an enormous amount of progress. I'm going to keep working on this over the next couple of weeks. I want to remind you again that tomorrow, 10:30 Pacific time, right here on behance.net/live, I'll be doing my masterclass. It's going to be a live session from the piano. So some piano playing, some singing, some chill, some relaxation, songs for you, songs for the kids who may be making some of you want to, step outside for some solace and quiet. So there'll be a bunch of that. And we've got a lot more coming up for you today on Adobe Live. So thank you once again for everything. Enjoy your time, enjoy your day, enjoy your weekend if I don't see you tomorrow, and we will see you again next time. So, all right, everybody, I'm going to say goodbye for now. Have a good one, and we've got more stuff coming up next, so stick around right here on Adobe Live. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.